Need you got some cocoa butter or something? I gotta get the melanin right, man. The melanin ain't all the way up to the highest level. We ain't outside like we supposed to be. I mean, we outside, but you feel what I'm saying? What's going on with the family, man? Hey, listen, I love y'all, man. I love stuff. I love life. Y'all hear that? Some nature out there. Birds chirping. It's a falcon in the distance. It's a little squirrel running around somewhere. It's beautiful. I see some chickens in the distance. A deer right there. Look how beautiful this is, y'all. There go a good deer right there, man. You gotta love some nature, right? Y'all probably can't. Yeah, y'all see it over there. It's moving. You feel me? And it's a white-tailed deer. I ain't never seen one of those before. That almost look like a kangaroo. I don't even know if that's a deer. Y'all gonna have to help me out with this one. I ain't never seen one of those before. But anyway, let me get back to my critical thinking. This background gonna be fly. We definitely gonna shoot something right here. The contrast gonna be great. But let me get to something, man. I was watching this video of this person that was doing a stitch to one of my videos I put up. And it was about when I was talking about the back out in the picture. And I love stuff like this because I get to have a good laugh. I see one lady said she unfollowed me because she thought I was talking about psychedelics. Now, nowhere in reality did I say psychedelics was a white people thing. You know, and nowhere did I demonize psychedelics or the use of psychedelics. Now, some of y'all may overuse and abuse. That's a different conversation. Now, critical thinking is not for everybody. Well, actually it is, but everybody doesn't do it, right? Context matters with everything. And I think that if people knew context better, and if critical thinking was at a higher level, we won't run into so many problems in society, man. You know, when we were talking about in the 70s, you got to understand that MK Ultra and government laws and government programs on how to utilize drugs, like even weed. People love weed, but weed is not something that enhancing people's lives. Let me be honest with you. Most people are addicted and wish they can get off of it. And I don't care if Dr. Sebi used them, Dr. Seuss used them. That has nothing to do with the conversation, right? Now, my conversation was more so about how during the era of the 70s, it actually made people harder to control, which was not a bad thing during that time, right? It was not a bad thing during that time whatsoever. Now, the reason that it was ushered in there is because they didn't want people, thinking too militant and too political. But what they found out that it had an adverse effect, but it also made it harder to control people, right? So it can be mind enhancing, like the sister said, mind revealing, right? But at the same time, everybody's experience is different. I know some people who tried psychedelics and mushrooms and had a detachment from their ego, and it was the most mental health cleansing ritual that they've ever done, right? Very great. Then I know some other people who were in bad states of mind, and therefore their trip was completely different. So I would never do a general conversation about, hey, everybody do shrooms to change your life, because some people's lives may not be changed for the better. You feel me? Now, side note, yeah, the drip is dripping, definitely. So, but what I was saying, though, in the conversation is that, we all do it. I'm guilty of it, too. And sometimes we pick apart conversations to create villains when it had nothing to do with the main conversation. If I say a person was, on kratom or on shrooms, I'm not saying the shrooms cause you to think irrationally. But what I'm saying is you must be in the spirit. You understand me? The brother must have been in the spirit, as many people are, because some of you all do too many shrooms and too many drugs, and you actually don't know how to live above and below at the same time, right? It's like a binary beat. A binary beat is when you have a sound in one ear and the other ear in the middle. The middle ground is what you actually hear, right? But that's how it is in life. You can't just be up there too high. You can't be up there too low on the ground. You have to have balance. And most people don't have balance. There's so many people that are just stuck in the sky and they can't make logical order and practical application, of reality. Some people only live in the stars and they only know the stories of uselessness. They can't really bring anything into fruition on this plane of existence because they can't engineer it. They don't know mathematics. They don't know how to build. They don't know how to manage. And so a lot of people are missing just basic life skills because most people get stuck in the way of the clouds and they never bring it back down to the roots. Civilizations that build something are the ones that we marvel at today. Now, it's beautiful to be in a blissful place within your mind and to live and feel an elevated consciousness, right? And controlled environments that are nurturing. But most of the environments in the world don't look like the one I'm in, where it's nature. You're outside, you got a fire pit, you got deer running around, you have creeks of water to where it allows your consciousness to have an elevated expression to where you don't get stuck into these boxes, because in the world that we live in, everything is a box, it's a square, it's a rectangle, right? Nature doesn't design like that. Nature designs, without restriction. It designs for flow. It designs like electricity, right? If you look at a tree and you look at the roots of a tree and then you look at the branches of a tree, it follows the shape of how electrical energy goes outward into the world. So we as human beings are supposed to go outward into the world. We're supposed to grow outward. But some people get stuck, right? And this is why you get a lot of, self-medication, right? But this self-medication, a lot of the issues that people having is the fact that they're depressed, they have anxiety, they have all of these disorders. And these disorders become spirits that people get stuck in, right? And when people get stuck in those disorders, they're constantly throwing band-aids on it. They're never addressing, right, what to put in order in the first place. They're not addressing that, right? So, most of the beginning eras of drugs were created by, let's say LSD and, different forms of drugs. They were definitely not created for toxic purposes or even the spirit of intoxication and partying and things of that nature. Some of them was made specifically as medicines, right? When the ancients and ancestors used ayahuasca and LSD and mushrooms, right? These were people that were in tune with who they are as well, right? Some of you all do it in environments, and what you realize is that you're surrounded by demons and that you are one as well, right? This is what some people get stuck with. I've seen people do shrooms and they've become a different spirit completely. I've seen people that I know, and I tried to tap them into their spirit. I'm like, yo, what happened to you? You was a shell of yourself. They had to come back down and take control of their own body. So there's most people that are pro something will never tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly of something. Me, I don't care. I'm going to tell you the good and bad and the ugly of it all. So let's stay critical in our thinking and analysis of reality and how we assess things, especially when it comes to myself, because I'm a multidimensional being. So most of the time when I'm saying something, it's not said from, the standpoint of one-dimensional thinking, right? And I want us to be critical in our analysis of the world and of each other in the way we do things, because it gives us more power, right? It gives you more power. We are not a organism that is collectively, unified whatsoever. We unify sometimes on ideas and agendas that the world is currently expressing. So some people are unified in the idea that they are anti-masculation movement, right? And then some people are pro-masculation. So those people find unity in the ideologies that both of them are committed to fighting for and uniting under, right? But those people are not actually united on a daily basis. They just find commonality in moments of time. Then you have gender war. So women unite with women, men unite with men, but then women have the greatest level of, disagreement with each other when it comes to women, and women empowering each other more and being able to do business with each other without ego, right? But when it comes to hate the man, that's a unified thing, right? And it's a thing because of so many women have expressly went through real life traumatic situations dealing with men, right? Same thing on the man side. Brothers is not actually coming together building in any tier of organization to do something substantial. But when it comes to talking about women and their expectations and stuff they got going on today, then you can not unite in this sphere of conversation, right? But you're not actually united with these people. You're not actually connected. So it's this false sense of connection that people have in these moments of, ideological unity, right? But in reality, these people are lonely as a $1 bill, you know? And so you have to be careful, because a lot of times people are connecting based on insecurities, based on the feeling of loneliness, and it makes them feel like they're connected and a part of something, so they add to it, you know? They add to these conversations and these fears, but they ain't real, man. What we talking about? You got to add to these conversations. Yeah, I know people say, well, we experience everything. Experiences are all real. So people experience negative experiences. Otherwise, the intent of the energy and the entity of negativity wouldn't exist. But negativity is very necessary. It gives us a contrast in life. So to say people don't experience negativity is not a good thing, because darkness is necessary. That's almost saying people don't experience darkness. We're born in darkness, right? Our parents, our mothers have to go through, pain in the duration of almost to the brink of death just to bring us here in reality. That's the beauty of life. So it's okay to speak the truth of it, because toxic positivity is ignoring reality, right? Where most people sacrifice reality to try to improve a positive mindset, so they actually never deal with reality. That's like putting on a nice suit. You understand me? But you got a gun wound under that. Nobody see the gun wound. You putting on a nice suit, but you diseased and you cancerous on the inside. Nobody sees the cancer, but you look good on the outside. No, we can't do that. You know what I mean? We have to reveal in order to heal. So I think it's positivity, it's truth in all regards. Positivity is diagnosis. When a doctor tells you a diagnosis, he be like, yo, you come in here and you got this so-and-so disease. That was positive what he did, because he just revealed the truth. That wasn't negative, right? It's the same thing in life. And most people don't know how to take true diagnoses when we're dealing with people. So some things considered to be criticism, but it's a diagnosis, right? And nobody walks out of that diagnosis and say, well, listen, the doctor, just live your life. Forget what the doctor said. Like, no, you got to actually listen. You've been diagnosed. Gnosis comes from the word knowledge, right? So, you've been revealed knowledge of your circumstance and what's going on with you. And too many people choose to ignore the knowledge that has been revealed to them when they can diagnose themselves and move forward. Y'all can't, some things ain't negativity. Some things ain't, a person getting at you. Sometimes you're getting a diagnosis. And every doctor ain't go and take a Hippocratic oath in school. Some doctors, anybody that speaks truth to you is a doctor. A person that leads you in the right direction is a doctor. They're healing you. They're improving you. They're giving you guidance. Before there was the administration, that was created of Hippocratic oath and, to create this medicinal system, there were doctors before, right? The legal order of doctors and hospitals. We've been had healers and doctors. We've had it throughout eternity and time. You go to a psychologist does what? They help you reveal and diagnose yourself to yourself. That's a doctor. That's a doctor of the mind, though, right? So we have people in our corners a lot of time trying to give us diagnoses, but we take it as criticism. We take it as negative, and we think we got to defend ourselves. But I promise you, you don't go to that hospital and be like, nah, doctor, I ain't got cancer. Doctor, I ain't got tumor. No, I ain't got this. You don't know what you're doing. Some people do that. No, run another test, run another test, run another test. And it ran all these tests. Now everybody's telling you the same thing. Everybody telling you the same thing. That's how it is in life. You got so many people telling you the same thing, and you don't want to believe it, because it's not what you wanted to hear. You feel me? So, men do it and women do it. Women don't want to hear what men got to say. Men don't want to hear what women got to say. So we never take each other diagnosis, so we can never get better. You dig? So we got one of the most sick, intoxicated societies on the planet Earth to ever exist in the history of time, where this many abundance of people have never been on this amount of drugs, with this amount of diseases, with this amount of mental issues and problems, and under persecution and oppression, ever. But at the same time, for all negative, there's positive. There's a flip side to that, and there's something positive in each lesson that we can learn from the realities that we go through. That's the beauty of life. Like if you as a woman don't want to hear what men have to say, you should stay away from men. If you as a man don't want to hear what women have to say, you should stay away from women. Because there's something wrong with you. It's not something wrong with the men and women. There's something wrong with you. Because of all those people you talk to, somebody's going to tell you the truth, and you're going to ignore it because of your bias towards, right, these people. Everybody ain't lying to you. So most of the times when we're looking at reality, we're diagnosing ourselves. And we got to learn how to do that. But I'm telling you, ladies, you can't, men and ladies, listen, stay out of relationships until you're willing to listen to the opposite sex. You're not ready to become a man as a young male, as a young boy, until you're willing to listen to a man. You're not willing to become a woman as a young girl until you're willing to listen to a woman. You know, you can't do that. So that goes towards schooling, because we always learning, right? We learn from people and we become them because we become a disciple of them. So we learn the discipline and they teach us the way. So you have to learn the way. What is the way of manhood? What is the way of womanhood? So these are more important questions to address that most people are not getting to when we have these conversations. And that's why I don't do a podcast. I do a show. Podcast sometimes can just be, a circus of talking in circles. And people want to just hear themselves. There's no real production behind it. And I will give the game on how you create much better podcasts than that's out there, because we got the formula, right? But you're not really dealing or addressing the real topics. Here are people that have issues, problems, disorders, traumas, and they're the ones having conversation. They're the ones that need to be listening. The people that have the issue just need to be listening. You're not supposed to be the one giving the advice. Your perspective is not the one we need to hear. You need to be the one shutting up and listening and developing yourself far from where you are. So by the time you speak, you're not speaking from the same place of trauma and filth. It's a different type of reality. So, these people that be ready to speak on everything, you just got out of a traumatic relationship. You hurt on the inside and you can't wait to go on the microphone. And it's impossible for you to not be biased to go talk about men or women or talk about the world. We don't want to hear, go heal first. Go get yourself together. You understand me? We need real men and women, that are actually in better places in life. They got a good head on their shoulders, that are grown, that know the way of. Those are the ones that need to be mobilizing. Otherwise, you got a bunch of fools following fools. And you can relate to them. That's not a good thing. This person just got out of the most toxic relationship of their life. You listening to them and you can relate to them. You're supposed to be like, I can't relate to that. But you think it's a good thing that you can relate to them. Y'all be listening to the craziest, stupefied people to exist. And you be sitting there, damn, I feel what bruh's saying. And it make you feel connected. That's not good. I'll be listening to these podcasts, the issues that people be having, but I can't relate to that at all. Boy, I be so happy. I'm so glad I can't relate to that. Boy, I can't relate to that. You know what I'm saying? I can't relate none of that. You feel me? So we got to you gotta be careful with the things you celebrate. Cause when you have relations, you have a relationship to things. So what is your relations to it? When you can relate to something, that's a relationship. So when you hear somebody with trauma and you can relate to it, that's because you have a relationship to it. Come on, man. Listen, my lives is better than 99.9% of the podcasts that's out there. We all know this. I'm just saying it out loud. So I don't like relating to people. I'm gonna just give y'all this key, man. Relating to people and being impressed are very two dangerous entities to connect yourself to. Being impressed allows you to be open to manipulation. And relating things will have you creating relationships and connections to things that you shouldn't. right? And then you celebrate the connection to those things, even though it ain't good. Boy, I can relate to those niggas. Boy, I tell you, boy, bit that. Yeah, no, I don't relate to none of that weirdo stuff. I don't relate to none of them issues cats be having with ladies and stuff like that. Even if I go through something, I'm still not going to have a relationship with it. I ain't saying I don't go through nothing. I ain't saying I'm perfect. But I'm just not about to have a relationship with it. That's different. You know? Now, that's cool. But ain't no relationship happening with that issue. Man, motherfuckers have a whole relationship. They set up their whole life around it. No, we done with it. So anyway, man, listen. I'm about to shoot a high-level conversation. And it's one y'all been asking for. And it looks like our guest just arrived. So I'm going to holler at y'all in a little bit, man. I hope y'all can relate to that.